Guys, so this video is probably the most special video I've made so far. It's on the Contemptor Dreadnought, fully magnetizing that model. Now, when I got him, he seemed, like a mini Leviathan Dreadnought. He reminds me of that kind of work. Only the Leviathan's bigger and probably twice the size, as far as the parts go. And he's got a very similar uh, design to how he works, like the siege claws and things like that. But he's more intricate. And because of his intricacy, it made me have to go outside the box. So I ran into a wall with, I don't know how, other than how I've done it, and I've fully magnetized it. It's awesome. But the only other way because I'm thinking, how do these guys play this model if they're literally going to change out the weapons? Because there's weapons I did not even notice when I ordered this model on the hands coming out the palm, like here. There's a hole, and out of that hole are either all of the five different choices. So either bolter, railgun, flamer, uh, plasma, whatever. That it all comes. Those choices are coming out of his hands, but each one has a little part that's got like sitting on a flat coin, the way it's 3D printed, and it's meant to be the hand part is meant to be taken off. So if this is my part here, it cuts off here. So you're supposed to take this off, and then the part that goes just the very tip. So if you just put it in, glue it in just as they give it to you, you can't even tell what. You can only see the very tip of it, just the barrel, tip. So I don't like that. I was like, I want to see more of the weapon. So I'm going to have to figure that out, and then I'm going to see how in the hell these, and I'd already built the body and everything, and I'm down to the siege claws. I'm knocking it out, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this is, uh-oh. And so literally it forced me to have to solve the problem. I had to order ring magnets. So for you, the guys that don't know, uh, here are ring magnets. They're like a Cheerio. I have a hole in them. Only I ordered the wrong size. So my hole was too small. But I'll cover all of this. So I had to even open up all those ring magnets. I about broke 20 of them trying to accomplish that. But there's a certain technique. I'll figure it out, and I'll share it with you guys in the video. So we'll start with the body then, the feet first. So I'm using 6x3 millimeter magnets with this. Also 3x3 magnets. I've got some 1x2s, 1x3s in here. I've got quite a bit. So that when you get to the siege claws, you've got to go small, but you need them to still, that's when you get to the siege claws, you're using 3x3s for the fingers. You're going to need for the joints to hold the fingers to the arm part, hand, palm. Then that's where the 2x1 and 3x1s come into play. Also 3x2s, just whatever thickness I can get away with, I'm going to squeeze them in there. Lot of parts that work together, a lot of upgrades. So not only are there 5 weapons that come out of the palm of the hand, but at the bottom of the forearm is it comes with 5 different equipment types to upgrade, to go with what's coming out of the hand. So that's a determination, I think, what you have coming out of your palm, if you're playing tournaments or something like that. So it made it very intricate, a lot of work. I've got all the goodies too for this model. So I have the weapon missile pod upgrade that goes up on the back, magnetized. I've got the dual auto cannon, rail gun, arm weapon. I've got the chain fist and the siege claw, 2 close combat hand claws, right and left, and everything has been magnetized. And the main thing, like when I bought the model, I did not buy the chain fist at first, and then after researching a bit more this model, man, it's all about the chain fist if you're getting close combat, because it does massive damage, because it's talking 3 weapons in the hand: a claw, gripping claw, or siege fingers with blades, with one of 5 different weapons, and then you've got the chain buzzsaw coming down as a finger. It's crazy. So they have it attached wrong to the model in the sites that they have everywhere internationally. That you would find this model on a website, like an official picture. It's wrong in there. And when you figure it out I figured it out when I'm building it, and I'm just like, this can't go like this. This goes in the finger slot, but it has to work like the other fingers do in order for the weapon to function properly. So they have literally misguided people out there with that picture. But I'll go over that too. So we'll cover all of this. So in these feet, here's what the feet look like. So we've got a 6x3mm, and I went deep. I may have 1 or 2 in there. That's a thick, solid part. So now the here. All right. Now we go to the shin or foreleg. This is going to be his left leg foreshin. The other one has the design going up that waves up the other side. It's on that part. So we went ahead and sunk all the way up to the top of it, to where there's a 6x3mm in there. Then I went in on top of that 6mm and put a whatever I could fit in there. I'm not sure if it's a 3x3 or if it's a 3x2, but dry fit it. It needs to be down in there because the thigh piece fits down in this notched compartment. Here's the thigh piece. This you glue on separately, so hold off on that until you're all done with the magnets. This part here, when you get all done, yeah, it goes like this. Then see, you can glue it and fit it and then glue it to where it helps lock it straight. See? And then underneath there is a magnet as close to that knee pad. There's one right next to it. There's a notch. You want to keep the leg notch. There's a resin notch. Do not cut that off. I kept that all the way to the end, and then there's one behind the notch. There's one, they're all sunk in there, and then I ended up building it up because I had some more room by building it up a little bit because of the notch maybe or whatever. It just makes it stronger. So that's with his knee bent. Like that. So really it's mine does 2 positions, 3, 2, 3. It's really all you can, you know. This is nice how this fits all together. So on his other leg, save that last. So there's 2 next to each other. One there. So, and then the notch, you can see really good that notch. So it just fits like a glove. So when I prime that, you'll never see those. There's his 90-degree. So now we go to the pelvis. Move this back a little bit. Alright, so we have the front pelvis part. Deep set. There's 2 side by side in here. 6 by 3 millimeters fit. They need to be touching inside. Deep sunk like that. Now down in here, I've got a 6 by 3 drilled down in there. Then I put glue on top of that one once I got it in, and I'll see how the fitment is with one. And then it was higher up, so I went ahead and slapped another one on there to pump it up. So you can hear by that clicking sound, you can hear just how strong those magnets are. It's very clean. Man, I love this. All right. All right, so here is his torso. This is a Raven Guard specific Contemptor Dreadnought, so in case y'all are wondering. So we have a 6 by 3 millimeter in there. 6 by 3 millimeter. 6 by 3 millimeter. go ahead and put a 3x3mm on top. Whether you have the missile up pod or not, go ahead and you're going to love this model. Why wouldn't you get the freaking missile pod, dummy? So get it. And then just go ahead and have it there. So when you got it, you just put your missile pod together and slap it on there. He's already done. And you don't have to go drilling after you paint them and shit. So do it right the first time. And then drill down there, sunk in a 3x3. This is the head that comes with the missile pod upgrade, so it's an awesome head. I would prefer it to the one that came with it. It's got a real cool eye. That is a cool head. Now I'm going to be getting my dead raven heads too, so he's going to have that as well. So see that this magnet right here that's sticking up, you're probably thinking it needs to be down, but see it's not, because you do have a second piece up in here. So there's a 6x3 in there. There's a 6x3 on the top of this piece. This is his abdomen, his stomach. It's very deep sunk, the torso. This goes in there. And these, and that disappears, that magnet. And there's our body. It's a testament to my work that this stands without anything, any help, any stand. But once you figure out which way you want to go, you should always find a way to secure him on whatever play stand. You might have two stands, one for play where he's extra secured, take him secured, to an outside location, but at home you put all the stops on him. All right, so now I'm going to cover the shoulder. Shoulders are tricky. It's where the real shit starts. All right, so the shoulders at 2P, it comes in two parts. I had a magnet drilled in there before, and I tried something, because I'm starting on my own without a paddle here. So I was thinking the normal one to attach it to the body. So that goes to the body. Here's the profile. I glued this part in there, drilled in to help get rid of any magnet that might interfere, because it's going to end up pretty heavy, these arms, because there's two ring magnets on a part. Total is an inch and a quarter, or inch and a half long. So I've got a 6x3mm in there to really hold it, and then glued that part in, because this you can change out whatever here. So instead of having to screw around with this not best designed part. So I just got finished with this part. Now this one, because I wanted to do exactly what I want, I just got some scrap 3D resin here and basically built this part up with just a little side long piece that I clipped. And then using my glue and cigarette technique, So there's a magnet that's glued in there that is 6x3 inside profile there. So there's one here, goes to the body. Then there's one, you drill a hole from this side. It's deep in there. It's on an angle actually. That's why I had to build this part up, because it's on an angle without destroying this upper line. I tagged it right here a little bit, but I had to, sand it a little bit there. But that one's up in there. And this is kind of like the part I glued on the other side, but it's just a different dimension. So I went ahead and drilled into this very delicate skinny piece. You'll have a little circle. Then glue this magnet in. It's a 6x3. Then this part that's going to connect to the shoulder is another 6x3. So it's like a letter L with magnets on the bottom and top. You see? And you see how I have this built up just a little. This was flat, so I just glued a little part on there, and I did the same thing on the inside, building up, because that's on an angle. And what was happening is it was doing this. So the arm is going to be kicking in towards the body. So what this does, see, does that. Also, if I want to kick this part out, I use a kicker magnet. If you don't know what a kicker magnet is, we do. This is a kicker magnet. It's smaller, using the magnetism of the part. But it's smaller, and you move it around in there. Because it's a magnet itself, it can help line things up if you want to fix it outward, the arm. And it gives a physical wedge plus some magnetism. Connects that one in there to this one, and then you can, that's for dynamic and nanobeam posing that I'm going to be doing. So for now, we just go with a nice straight part. That is removable. You could glue that just like the other side. I like to see, try out different things, Shit. I do notice this piece is the weakest. It comes off a lot. I'm going to have to figure out. I think I can put another magnet in there that'll attract to the one in front of it, and it'll fix that. And that's always take the extra time to do that. Don't just settle for less. This one's got this rickety fucking arm. I hate that. There's always going to be that dissatisfaction. So go ahead, and that's what this crafting is for, and hobby, to do things, to take your time, and man, it's an accomplishment. It really is, to do this. This is not easy. And nobody's going to understand it but you nerds watching this, so. But it's very satisfying and fulfilling, Especially when you pull things off and you get it to do things. Your will makes it happen. Even if there's no guide out there, it's like, you know what? Let me use my God-given brain here and figure it out, That's what I like about it. It makes your mind work in different ways. Get the different wheels running instead of watching TV. This hobby is really good for stimulating your brain and challenging you to learn new skills. Like airbrushing, now I finally have a reason for an outdated vintage craft painting, style that now I'm loving it, you know. So I finally have an application and not just spraying some damn t-shirts, you know. This is where it's at. And then you've got to, if you do this magnetizing, just this, the basic magnets make this model worth much more. But what I've done here is take it to a whole nother level of value. It's more than, you know, this is top dollar shit. He's royalty. And it's a badass model. You should look how wicked everything looks on him. His proportions, parts, and nice detail on him. All right. So now we go to the autocannon. It's a tricky. It only gets trickier from here, guys. All right. So this is the dual autocannon. It's got these little things here. So if you're given a part like this, and it's got a piece like this in it, everybody's just gluing this to this, and they're gluing this up to the arm, and they're fixing it. But this has no magnets in it. That is the part. But there is a magnet in there. See it in there? Deep down in there. So we have to go to a space heater. If you've got one of those, heat up the part. Spread these out, these cartridges. Then get in there and drill down in there to where you do have a nice flat seat. See, it disappears there. There isn't anything sticking up. Do this while this part's hot, and where you can still bend it. So when you get done drilling, get your magnet, get your glue ready, sink it in there, and then put that back together. All right. Now this needs to be tight. If you have a loose part, the other thing just flip, if this just falls off the little piece, then put super glue on this part. Thicken it up, add a little cigarette, sand it, I'm telling you, fixed. It'll tighten it. So we need a tight fix here because we're going to leave it like that. But we are going to support it because now we do have a magnet down here. And I have a way to sink it here. So this magnet is now attracting this magnet, even though they're far apart. This is a 6x3. That's why, because it's a strong magnet. So this is, once this is connected to the body, then this one, the magnetic force is going to pull it up, so this will never fall. Everybody knows this model, knows that weapon. That is sick. Alright. I love this one too. This is the railgun. Like that part. Man, I have broken these things. I have broken this pieces and parts. All these little side, I have broken them. Like I'm putting magnets through this one, 3x3s sticking out because I like it nice. It adds detail too. It looks good. And then there's either a 3x2 in there and just match the width. You don't want anything sticking out. This is the part that needs to slide up and down in there. So we've got one in here. We've got a magnet lever design like in the other videos I've done. And you want to make sure that's nice and smooth going up there. I still have some cleanup to do on this part, I can tell. It just should be cleaner. And that should fit snugger up in there. All the way up, yeah. Then it'll just work better. And see, I can still tilt this. I can really get everything I want out of the angling of it. And if you can't tell, a little trick here to see if you are lined up. See how that, if I go this way, it flips around. And sometimes you can't tell heads or tails of this piece here when you're putting them on. Just always line it up. It's the same with when I go into the siege claw, you have to follow this. You have to know this. And then you put it in. Then your polarity, this part's not going to fly out or whatever. It's good to go. The railgun's freaking cool. I love it. I like it a lot. Nice design. All right. Now, this is going to be, so I already showed you the head. That is for the missile pod upgrade. It looks like a knight's face with comes with my body anyways. Now there's two ways to do this. If you guys saw, this is basically a teeny tiny version of the Hammerfeld bunker. And you can do the same damn thing. And in fact, I recommend you do it. Do a stick. You can drill a hole all the way through this piece. And if not, if you feel like, it's just getting too weak, or, I'm going to tear it or break it, and you get at least some footprint in there, this piece you could drill through it. And these, you can get a footprint in there. If it gets too delicate, see, like one side got broken off, and this side I sanded down to look more like that one, but it's fine. But get a toothpick, cut off the sharp ends of it, glue one into one side, slip it through, glue it into this side, but make sure dry fit this side to make sure it's this size, lengthwise. And then do not glue inside here. Just slip it through, and then it'll turn and it'll be connected to this piece. And then just sink I have a 3x3 sunk in there. But because I did not do the toothpick method, I magnetized mine. So I put magnet in there, magnet inside there, and a stacked one on top. Then the shit's like, like when you get a lot of that. So you got to work with that. At what I do to fix shit like that, because that drives me up the wall. I'm OCD as hell. So to fix that, I'll put a dab of glue on there. I'll get a cigarette ash and ash it. Build up something to sand down. To all what it's needing is a flat, parallel surface. And if anything can be built up, it's surface, square footage space that gives support. You have the attraction, but see, when you get smaller and narrow things, it gets rickety, But that's good for certain things, like the end of Farsight's sword, the ribbon. I want that shit rickety, but I want it connected, and I don't want it falling off on the floor either, All right, so now we will. Here's that up here. Boom. Look how freaking cool he looks now, man. Oh, yeah. And that's the helmet that targets for those. Alright. I'm going to put this off to the side. So we gotta look at some shit now. Alright. So, these, it's good because I've got leftover fingers that I have not done anything to yet. There'll be a little bit of resin feed coming off this parts. These are the fingers to the claw. So if you can see how small this shit is, I literally, you see how the shape is? Look, when you have shapes like this, try to imagine that part being replaced with the exact magnet. See? It's the same thickness. Even if it's a little bigger, it's better that the resin is a little thicker. And it's the same diameter almost. So what that does, you take the clippers, clip a V, get the knife out, and just kind of whittle it until you get a crescent moon shape. So then you put glue in there. You just lay these down like this. Put the glue just on one magnet or just here. And then you just hold it like that. And let it dry. Now, while you have a gob of glue like that, then you want to take and put some ash on there. That's going. You need to do this if you haven't learned that. You take cigarette and you light it up when you're getting ready to glue something. So then you have it in your mouth, ready to go, and you don't need a hand to do it because both hands are going to be one's holding the part, other one's holding the magnet. You got glue in between it. So now you can come in with your face with the cigarette and just stab it with it in your mouth, and you come in between and almost kind of like a designated torch. And what it's doing is it's bonding immediately. That ash is something to it. It's heated up. It's so fine and light and fluffy. It turns into like fiberglass or something. It gives a fiberglass immediate. And you can glue parts that you would normally just give up on. And I'm talking they're bonded in seconds, literally. Then at least you can flip it over, and it's attached, and then put a little bit more glue. Do another bit of ash. Go on the sides, separate it, press it, press it, make it do what you need it to do, get it exactly the way it is, and then let it sit off to the side and set. It comes with 4 fingers. You need to do all 4 like that. Clip them, sand them. Now for the siege claw, if you have the option now. You don't have to clip that off. You can have your fingers look a little bit longer, and especially for the siege claw that's got like blade fingers, let's extend them and make it look more ferocious. So just keep that on there, and just put a little glue there, just like I'm showing you. Boom. A little ash, and I'm telling you, it's done. In fact, I'm going to show you how fast I'm going to do it. I want these fingers in case I need replacements to match up with what I already got. So I'm going to use... Alright, so I need to go this way. So I have just a little bit of glue on that. Hold the magnet steady there. And just touch it. Ash torch. You see how the ashes are on there? You just pat it. That is already bonded, look. Very, very useful technique. Can save you a lot of time and a lot of sanity. A little bit of ash. Immediate. I'm not waiting 10, 15, 20, a minute even. It's done. After I get done patting this. Right off, give it just a second. And to make sure, in case you did glue these together, because it'll pull, that's how you can pull it off. Let me see here, where's my... I want to make sure it's straight. And just push that right on the line. Yeah. Alright, so we got it off now. And just press it. Now, so you got a dusty surface. Put some more glue on there on the outside of where the part meets the magnet. And ash it again. Just adding. We're gonna sand this. And the super glue loves dust. This resin dust is another thing that's actually useful at this stage, because it gets in the cracks, it fills it, and dries it, and then when you touch it, it's less getting on your damn fingers and touching the model and mucking it up. And then thank God for alcohol, or else these things would look like shit, because I mean there's so much fumbling with fingers. So I want to get, it's a small part, I'm going to make some detail sands in it. Divots, joint, knuckly kind of shapes. And you want to make sure the side of the part is nice and flush on each side, vertical. And all the way to the magnet itself. Let the other side be the bond. Because what that's going to do is when we get our palms, the magnets glued down into the palms that are going to hold the fingers in, those magnets need to all be flush. All right. So that's after you see me torch this thing about 3 times. Now we're talking. It's perfect. And it's strong as hell too. So there we go. That is a mini finger. So we got, now you take and do all your fingers. If you've got a couple kits, go ahead and do all the fingers. Make sure they're all the same way. Because these fingers are going to dictate now the magnets that we're going to glue into the palm part. Alright. Think if you guys have Tau or crisis suits, and think of all those damn weapons, you know, when they're magnetized, they all magnetize side by side to each other. Your fingers should do this. Okay. Let's get to that point there. So you don't have to pause this. This part is so kind of complex that. Oh. That is a magnet at the end here. Magnet, 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 magnet. 4. 2 below, and there is a doubled up magnet on one side. Just the way it worked out on my thing. Now the thumb part at the bottom where these are here, that's just where the thumb goes. These are the top fingers. 3 fingers in a row. So what I do, let me see, where's my X-Acto knife? And anyways, so what I did is I took the other one and I sliced this off very easily, just flat, just this way with a thicker blade one, and just cut down, slice about the magnet itself space, you know, that you're going to use off to here. It's maybe this big, you know, because you're just gluing that thumb in, so it's just as thick as the part itself. So I cut out the chunks. It's perfect, 90 degrees. Make sure that's nice and square. And then there's notches like this in this part. Now I'm turning it around. So here's the thumb that we were looking at. You're going to clip out 93 parts here. There's also notches that come in this part, but I just clip them out and make it, and there isn't anything here, so it's just make it a clean ditch. You want a clean ditch because it helps seat all of those magnets in there. They just sit in there, profile, coins sitting on their sides. Leave this here a moment. Damn. Sorry, guys. Well, leave it there. This is so key, because if you can learn this, this is the key to every other dreadnought that's like small. Damn. Let me get this out. And so here is the hole. This is where it gets crazy. Oh, here's my knife. All right. So this part ends here normally. And then it had just a little lip. And it goes into the forearm part that seats where you put these little guns through that sit behind this and stop into, there's a stopping thing that it sits on with a little notch. I removed all of that right down to the weapon itself and glued 3x3 on the end of it. And then they need to be longer than that. So it's just a matter of how much of this weapon do you want to be sticking out of this hole. After that is determines how many magnets. So here example is one of those weapons. So it goes profile here. And it's going to be coming out of here. So if you were to glue it in, it's like that. It's really in there. You can barely see. And if you're the other ones, that's the most, intricate part when you're talking. Some of these are just a barrel. It was like, it's like this. If you glue it in. So mine though, hold on, let me get, there it goes. So here's where it kind of comes glue. If you were to glue it all in, mine, I like it to pop out more. I want to see contrast coloring, metal part. I want to see these side details popping up. So what I did is I needed a magnet that looks like a Cheerio. It's a circle with a hole in it. That's called a ring magnet. I haven't needed any of those. And typically, a ring magnet is used with a ball magnet or a steel ball bearing is what you can use. So you only need one magnet for it. And what it does is great for like devilfish and all of our flight, like piranhas, and which I'm probably going to do that now that I've got all these. I've got a bunch of these, so I can literally do a bunch, especially all the smaller aircraft models. So you would get like a clear stick that's a little thicker than what comes with the thing. There's sites where you can order a little bit thicker, like 1/4 inch thick or something, and then something that allows you to get a ball bearing, steel ball bearing, and you need it like Gorilla glued, man. Super glue ain't even gonna work. You're gonna need Gorilla Glue, the clear one, and get that bond, because that shit is incredible. I have yet to see a better, that once that shit glues, it's fixed. There ain't no dip it in an alcohol. That shit is done. It's like a melted welding, foaming, but it's great for that application. Just wipe it out so it doesn't start foaming out the sides of it, and get that ball bearing on the clear post, and then you take the magnet ring and just pop it down, and you can move it, and it stays real tight. So you glue the ring underneath your craft, and it'll hold. So if you, like a piranha, is small enough to where it can be tilted and held, great for dynamic anatomy or posing or positioning of craft that looks live, like it's swooping in, instead of just looking like a stick on top of a pancake, and it's perfectly horizontal with the pancake, and shit like that. All right, so this part here. Really study this part. Now, you're going to need to order 12 millimeter ring magnets. That's the exact width that we're looking at here. Let me clean this up a little bit here. It's dirty. Got like magnetic dust on the inside of this part. Attracted to it from all the grinding I did to get it to hole bigger. I literally drilled a hole through this damn thing and it worked. I can't believe it. I did shatter a shitload of them until I figured out the method that works. Alright, so that is glued on there. So that allows that part to slip through. But it goes crazy as it's passing through this circle. So you want to keep a hold on this until after we get done and the whole arm's magnetized. You want to hold on to this and push it through the hole, and it's going to connect to a special it's going to be the donut hole. In the center of a donut, it's going to be a 3x3 holding it dead center. It's going to end up touching and hold this piece secure, but it can get a little jumpy through while you're pushing it through to get to the post we're going to create for it. Alright, so now here's the forearm piece. So what I did on this piece, I removed the exact thickness that this ring magnet is taking up. I just took it to a grinder and grinded it down. It's pretty close, not all the way to the part in there. Then I drilled a 3x3 first. Before I put this ring magnet on, drill a 3x3 in there and sink it dead center in the middle of that part, see? God, I must have broke these damn things. I don't know how many times. Screwing with this one. It's a shame, but whatever. So you can tell. A lot of repair. Drilled through those. Put in even the parts inside out on one side because the magnet. But it's good because it creates a friction that grips. Because this is going to be heavier. So I sanded it back, keeping the same dimension once I add this part to it. It's a little bit thicker because this part's a little bit longer than if it would have been originally glued on. But boom. And it moves, see? That's the first for me, having to learn this one myself. See, so once we got that seed in there, see this ring magnet is attracting that part. See, I need it to go in the middle, in there. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about right there. That you don't want that thing shooting across the table. So it's better to wait until we have our palm on there, like this here. Now take it, and so it, like I was saying, there's the little pancake. The same, I use clippers, cut it down. Now I've got a 3x3, and then I've got two 1x3s. Two 1x3s stacked on top of each other, all glued together, so they don't all leave them behind or whatever. So it's still acting a little funky. I can feel it. But then when I push it all the way in, now it's not going anywhere. It just works. And it works good. It's tight. It feels almost like fixed. And it's got, it's guided all the way through here with the ring magnet, this piece. And then it's got the magnet at the very end to hold it just in place. And look how nice it comes out. So you can really see the weapon. Now, if it was too far for you, then you just use a 3x3, and it'll sink in and all. So here's an example of another one. Just a simple tube-looking piece. I don't know. And push this right in there. Boom. So you can clearly tell that's a different weapon. And you can pull. And now you want to, don't do what I'm doing. Take all these fingers off. Don't do this with the fingers on, ever. Take those off and remove them when you're going to take this off. I'm telling you, just take all that, because you got more magnets that are going to be running around it, and you're going to be touching them, and just get them out. Get all that loose interference parts out before you take these weapons out. Then at the bottom, in front of the elbow, I sunk a 3x3, because with those parts comes 5 different equipment pieces like this. And instead of gluing, they're interchangeable. So I sunk in a 3x3 here. But if you look at it, it's got like little skis, this part. And the magnet is flush with those. So when I put it on, like this, fits perfectly. Let's save those for last, though. I'm just showing you. Oh, that's a finger. Like this one. It's got that. See? And it's tight, nice and tight too. There's 5 different parts. I'm using the biggest parts just to show equipment. Now, then there's this piece. Okay, so this is a piece that comes into the elbow here. You got to save this little piece for last. I thought that was the thumb. I had it all working in the hand and everything, and I was like, that ain't the thumb. When I looked online, I'm like, shit, that's the elbow. Cool, okay. So I redid that, got those ready, and put those on. So but wait till the very last. And this piece is a little circle, and this glues onto that, and it has this piece attached to it, all one piece. I drilled a hole through there and sunk a magnet in there. So you can see it. just glued 6x3 millimeter on the top. That's going to put it up to the body, shoulder. Now this part is slightly edged on more on one side. You want that pointing towards the fingers and the short side going towards the elbow. So greater angle goes forward. Just remember that. Why matters because it's going to give you just, see it's like a little helping hand, the way it, if I glue it in there like that, see how that kind of just wedges, that's going to help hold our part up this way, see, it ain't going anywhere. And then it also, you want that to move so he can reach out and touch somebody, or, kick back, or extend, arms tilt down, relaxed, fingers closed, So you just take your fingers now. You want to take all the longest fingers. Those go on top. The smallest finger is the thumb. So since all of our polarities there, we have a magnet a magnet lever. Right? So whatever part we have now. Now this one I have specifically put, because these just, I got them really good and fixed. These have been popping off here and there after all the dipping and sanding and accidentally finishing up the part as I go along. So that one's a little skinnier than the other fingers. See? Now I'm going to go ahead and take that off for a second. And we're going to put in our weapon. Remember I said take off the fingers. Let's get our weapon in there. Alright, so we got our weapon in there. And the next two claws that I show you, it's going to be exactly the same. So I'm just going to run through and show you the different parts is all it really is. There we have it. Fully magnetized, bad to the bone. It rotates. See? So you can grip stuff like this. Got the expressions perfectly lined up, as they should. If you get any pop-ups like this, normally it's because look at the shape of your deal here, or there's something that's where it might be in here, Just get your X-Acto knife and kind of dig it out, make sure it's got clearance, its own little gully for its part to clearly, and it won't pop up like that. Look at that. It can accentuate unbelievably. How fucking cool. That is some serious freaking value right there to be able to do this, especially when it comes to that siege claw. What do you see how nice? So you just work with these, and you just make sure that you got a space in there. Sometimes they get a little funky and you might have to redo it, dig out a little more, pop it, reglue it. It's worth it. This model's so nice, like you can, if you don't want to risk this, which I would understand anybody, like I might do that too, is just order 2 hands and glue them all up where the fingers are, and then just magnetize the inside part for the weapons. That's the only other method that would you could get these things in there. You're still gonna have to clip them and slip them on down through there, or else these pop off. So glue it all up, except for these guns that can interchange. Put a magnet deep in there and a magnet here to switch out the equipment with the guns. Then you don't have to worry about losing ever your things. Like, but keep this at home when you're playing. You want to, if you're interested in doing what I'm doing, slide by slide kind of pictures to do, maybe a sequence of 6 shots in an attack, showing different angles and explosions, cotton and all that, LEDs, but it's going to be not live YouTube video. It's going to be a digital camera, and then I can even add effects, download that into Photoshop, add blended effects, and make it even more cool. And then the dice will determine what I'm going to end up doing online. It's a great hobby. I can't wait to get to where we're playing and able to share that with people, because they're going to be like blowing it up when they see. But just incredible. It really is incredible. And then so here's that piece. So it just gets better and better and better. Now that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's freaking off the chain cool. And maybe you leave these little parts at home just so you're not in a store and distracted. But and now once you've got this one hand, we will just jump on to the next hand that I've already got finished here. It's a similar hand, it just goes on the right hand. Or wait, this one goes here. This one. Wait a second. So this one, I've got to flip that magnet around and do the opposite. I just got these, been waiting for 2 days to get I ran out. I'm going to show the C's claw. Yeah, boy. Here is the helmet that came with him. Kind of the Space Marine looking helmet. Okay, I'm gonna have to pop these off, grind these down, and parallel sand these to get these just right. Yeah, definitely horrible angle here that I've got glued. I don't know what the hell. It's not glued on right. How freaking cool is that, though? Yeah, it's definitely complicated. In fact, I'm tempted to just glue this part on like I did the other side. I don't want to clip all that off and get that glued deep in there. I think that's going to be, it's just because of all the magnets on there, I don't need any more complication right here. It's just the less the better on that. Um, Maybe you don't want to spend the points for the game. You gotta take it off. Wicked. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look in the hell at that. I know it's just a magnet that's gonna keep that thing. One little sliver magnet's gonna fix that shit. When I get done with it. Amazing, because again, it's a testament to this, because he's standing up on his own 2 feet with, two full gun arms and. Ah, okay. Cigarette up there. This took me about, I've been working three or 4 days on this guy. Chain fists. All right, when you get one of these done, here is the chainsaw. So I actually drilled into it a little bit to get the magnet seated in there. It's on the top part of the thing piece. So you can either do this with the siege claw with the sharper fingers or this one. But you take out the middle finger. Put that in a little baggie so you don't lose it. And then this is replacing the finger. This is how it's supposed to work correctly. Because there's fingers here on the side, on the line. They've got it. Now, this is how it's supposed to go. So this is an incredible freaking weapon, man. You've got the power of the claw grabbing whatever, close combat or a tank. You've got this weapon shooting, flaming, plasma or whatever, and then you got this thing coming down like a. It's like that shark with the prehistoric shark. It kind of reminds me of a shark. But yeah, that's a badass. I love that whole thing. So cool. That's the chain fist. It goes up and down. And this just pops back in there. Waiter, please, I would like another martini, please. Shit, you can make him like holding a doobie, seeing without being like, ooh, the dreadnoughts out back, man. I'm gonna be having a little doobie scene in the back behind the castle. They're gonna be like, yo, here, man. We're about to go to battle. Choke up, man. Yeah, look at the expression, it's fantastic. And these are just some of the other, what the parts look like that come out of the palm of the hand. This is like the equipment that goes under his arm. I like because then all these little parts, it helps keep you from losing stuff, And just attach them all together in a little ball. I still gotta glue those other two fingers. That's it though. I'm freaking done. I'm getting another one of those, so I'm gonna get another body because I've got 3 arms I'm looking at and 2 guns. So I have at least 2 I can run, and I'm gonna get another siege claw because I think the siege claw just is super wicked. I love the siege claw. It looks like the Predators down the 30K. The fingers, the long. Man, I wish we could use those. They got extra huge fingers like this on the Space Marines. They look like the Space Marines look like this. They're monstery, ferocious looking. Again, wait. I like when it's closed. It looks really cool closed. She's just chilling out. And it reminds me of a octopus beak. And you see these fingers go all the way down. Almost like Tyrannosaurus Rex teeth now. Whoop. There's that equipment that goes there. That camera is really having a hard time focusing. Great. Well, this was the hardest model by far. Most challenging because of those intricacies in the forearms, and hand weapons. That'll send you screaming through the backyard. But I am so glad that I'm at the point that I'm at. Oh. You know what else, though, I think is good about doing this? Even though I know you're thinking, man, this shit. But the parts don't break, they fall apart. You know? Where I'm hearing these are fragile, man. If these are all bonded together and that fell like that, I mean, it's just so easy for them to fall, and if they hit the floor, they're gonna break like hell. Instead of it just coming apart where I put magnets, it's gonna break the whole damn gun part off. Yeah, when I get done with the video, I'm gonna be perfecting this leg for sure. We can also do a stance for him here. If you want to have him stepping up on a rock on a base, I'm gonna start trying some stuff where I haven't messed with it yet, but it's been on my mind. So the idea is once we get all these done, to make a couple stand options. So there is away from home, at home. You know, at home is going to be clear. I don't need anything on it. I can play, you know, just let people know this one doesn't fly, that, whatever. So I could get the pictures without as much stuff to remove as possible. And then the thing is, you take on the other side here, and you just get a magnet like that. I gotta figure out which. So what that does is it holds him, and then that's just under 1 foot. But if these are glued, if you kind of play with it and see underneath, is first to get your magnets here underneath. So the magnets are on the other side of the base, like sandwiching his feet. See, he's quite stable now. Once I strengthen that up. So the idea is get just the right frequency going here. And another thing is that's just to help finalize his feet, to give him something, you know, holding him down at the bottom. Now, I'll go over on another video, like you get like about 4 strong wire, you know, and then you hold it at one end, get it bonded, glued together, and then hold it with um, pliers, and then twist it all the way up, partial way, go up about an inch, you know, and then you start breaking one of the branches off, break another one off, run one up and run, and you're going to get the needle nose start kinking all these things and bending them, and these like a tree, you know, and then you can put a hole there, and you get a little glue and paper towel and cover up those wires to make it textury hard, but yet it gives it doesn't look like wire. You give it the texture for a tree branch, and then paint it. And then if you have a little drill hole in here, you can literally have them like a tree or coming around a tree, but the branch comes up and around and up and is literally holding them. Then you've got these two, magnets, and then one could be here that you're not using yet, but you know it's there. So, or on top of a rock, so his leg comes up and fixes on it. And you could have a couple of options like this where they're interchangeable for other models. With the base. So definitely I'm going to do that later. And just have a whole range of different, like I was saying, I'm going to do a range. There might be one here, one here. It looks identical, but the magnets are in different spots to hold him like he's walking in 3 steps, or any other model I use. So that is Contemptor Dreadnought. But yeah, he's a brutal little force, man. This is a serious character right here. He ain't playing. He's got enough options here to do some serious damage. It's exactly what, and he's versatile. He's got so many different weapon options and configurations and upgrades, and man, he's gonna be perfect. That's why I want to get another one. Man, just these two, but I have to get another chain freaking saw. Uh-huh. Another autocannon, because that is supposed to be, chainsaw and autocannon are supposed to be just the best combo, I think. The most damage. It's got the close combat, plus it's got like almost freaking two Predator. It's like Predator tank, the dual cannon on that, but a little smaller. Alright, guys. One last look here at the claw. And that elbow, see when you glue that in last, see it just helps leverage. Keeps it from going too low. So if you got a nice, I'm going to leave it so it's got some ankle, because that's why it's important to rotate and be able to do some different ankles. But definitely, see, the problem with this arm I noticed is like when I was showing you guys, see how it's kicked up on one side. I am going to grind that down more. I don't want it long. I want it down, so that's what I'll be working on here shortly. Tweaking it. Man, he's so badass. I'm telling you, some of these are just so cool. That I keep them over to the side. I can't wait to get now, like the Inquisitors. I'm going to work on those next. I've got 2. The Inquisitors are going to be so cool. Those are the ones that look like the ones in the Avatar, where that captain's running around and exactly like that. That's that equipment. Really cool. Yeah, you got to be patient, and just, if you break something, man, don't worry. Just take a breath, but don't walk away to fix your shit before taking your break. Just all right. Just let me get this part glued back on. As soon as it breaks or it's about to break, don't rip it all the way off. If it's still halfway attached or whatever. Go ahead and use what you got, and then just pinch it back over and hold it with your thumb down. Press it back against the part. Get that part rebonded, and then always use you can only sand all that off, but man, I'm telling you, that fiber gets in there and that dust gets in there and really bonds the stuff together, and then be easy going with this alcohol bath. You know, you're gonna probably um, dissolve what's holding some of these magnets on here. You're dipping it, brushing it. It's, you know, just go back and redo it again, re-glue it. But you're just be cleaner and cleaner the next application you do, and then until you get it to where you're satisfied, ready to prime. Like these guys are almost there, ready to prime now. They're just a little bit more cleaning up I want to do on them, and that's it. And I'm going to tweak them here, make sure they're the way I want them. They're hanging the way I want, moving the way I want, and they're secure. I got to figure out, you know. Just gets complicated with here, but I'm so thrilled with this, with the results of it. I mean, he's even I was surprised he beat out my Leviathan Dreadnought as far as coolness factor goes. So, yeah, guys, I hope you guys learned a lot. Any questions, just leave them below in the comments, and check out some. I've been making a ton of these videos, so there's now a wide range of models that are already now to take a look at. So check the others out if you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys later.